next round. You been looking at the tape. That's the attitude. Got a little something that I gotta prove. From the bottom, we just doing what we gotta do. I put that crew on my shoulder, got a lot to lose. Going for that goalpost. Going through the red when the road closed. Y'all know, we ain't quitting when we so close. And the victory is really what it's all for. Yeah, looking at the champs right now. Turning up the amps right now. You looking at the champs right now. Y'all know, you can stay in that grind. You been looking at the champs.
Goes.
Stay ground, don't do it, no cap. You been looking at the tape. Yeah, y'all know you been looking at the tape. Yeah, I can throw the crowd. Betting on myself, throw it all down. Yeah.
Hey everyone, welcome back to Red Bandit Racing. Welcome back to the channel. As you guys can see in the title, this is our 1 year review of the Traxxas Sledge. It's been between 13 and 14 months. We were waiting to do this just to make sure we had everything worked out on it. And the last couple of videos, we've really been sending this thing hard and we don't have any issues anymore. I am so glad that we're able to finally send this and really put it to the test. And Traxxas was right. Once those issues got fixed, they were definitely right. This thing does have X max durability. This thing is tough. We're going to go over some pros and cons, overall price, some of the things that you must upgrade on it, the issues that we had, and is this a good RC for you? Is this a good first RC car? Probably not. Is this still a great purchase? So we're going to get into that, and we're going to show some clips of some of the issues that we had and some of the big jumps that we did and just all the durability. That way you guys have a better overall understanding if this is a good truck to buy. The original price of this was $699.95, which is a little bit high, but if you look on the site right now, it went up to $769.95, and that's because they added belted tires. Now, right out of the box, this does have some issues. Let me go ahead and take the body off so we can talk about it a little bit more. But they put seals in the inner drive cups. And that's because they were having issues with the dog bones popping out. So what they did was they put an O-ring in there that kind of took up some of the gap, and it completely fixed the issue. With the new iteration of the Sledge that came out, the only thing that they did was they added 4 different bodies and some belted tires. Now, to compensate for the speed loss of the belted tires, they also upped the gearing on the Pinion. So they didn't fix any of the issues. The chassis still bends easy. They didn't fix the drive cup, so the dog bones still have the O-ring. I went and checked the schematic, it's still there. So they didn't fix that issue. I just felt like they could have done a little bit better job at managing what they know that's wrong with it before they start upgrading it. And me personally, I don't really like the bodies that came out, but you can still get the original body and some of the original colors. That's probably what I'm gonna do. I'm definitely gonna get another green one just for a shelf body while I continue to bash this one. Now, the parts we broke on this is a little extensive. So I'm gonna list everything that broke and why. So, and I have a whole list that I have to read off. So we broke 3 spur gears, 4 pinions. We went through 2 chassis. You can kind of see one of them up there. That other gray one actually that's a brand new one. It was scratched during shipping. So it's still there as a backup. So if we ever need to switch it out, we'll switch it out. But honestly, more than likely, if I have to replace the chassis again, it's gonna be with M2C. We went through a whole set of tires because we destroyed the foam in the back wheels. This thing has so much power, it tore the foam up. So the tire was really flat. And you can really feel that that foam was definitely tore up. Front shock caps, broke one of those. As you guys saw in one of the later videos, we broke the motor shaft on the motor. The front center drive shaft boot, the boots that are on the front and the rear, tore one of the boots on, I think it was the second time out. The rear shock tower, bent the rear shock tower, and I went ahead and chipped some teeth on the rear ring and pinion. That's about the list that broke. The Pinion and the Spur Gear were probably the worst. All right, I'm gonna show you guys some clips just here and there over the time that we've had the car. Like I said, we broke the motor And that is not common. It's definitely not common. I broke the shaft right off the motor. I want to say that there may have been a bubble in the casting and that's why it broke, because I have never broken a shaft like that. That was a pretty bad break. And it was pretty obvious when it broke. The rear ring and pinion, we were on the baseball field. I'm not sure if I have a clip of that, but you can hear a lot of clicking. So I pulled the rear apart and it was pretty evident that there's metal in the case. So what we had to do was we had to upgrade the front and rear to the spiral cut gears from Traxxas, which eliminated all those problems. They are extremely strong. They are steel, definitely worth an upgrade. The front shock cap was probably the worst. That was one of the first times out. We hit the same cement wall that we ran the Max into. Ran the Max into the same wall. It hit so hard, I could have sworn that I ripped the whole front end apart. But it ended up being just a shock cap, so I just had to put new shock caps on, and I went ahead and went with the steel. That way we wouldn't have any problems. Now, as far as the chassis goes, this chassis is bent, and as you can see, this thing's been scraped up. This chassis is bent. It's bent right along this edge here, and I have a lot of theories on why that could be happening. A lot of really good comments that you guys have been giving too about what you think could have caused that. This chassis is bent. So this is the second bent chassis. The only difference is I don't have to replace this one because the motor mount that we installed completely fixed the issue. The motor mount is from M2C, and what that does is the original motor mount and center differential housing were separate. So if the chassis bends, the mesh can get out of whack, and that can usually cause a lot of gearing issues, especially chip teeth. So what that M2C motor mount does is it actually combines the two. So even if the chassis bends, you're going to keep your mesh. And that M2C motor mount, go check out that video. That's probably one of your biggest upgrades right there. That thing is going to save you so much time and so much money, and it's going to alleviate a lot of headaches. That's a must upgrade right there. As far as the rear shock tower goes, we were on the RC Clash going hard, and I think I landed on the back a little bit too hard. I went to put my body back on and it wouldn't push down. And I thought, okay, well, maybe I bent the clipless body. And I couldn't find anything wrong. And then I was just happening to have it on the bench. I had it at an angle and I was like, whoa, wait a minute. The back shock tower is completely bent forward. That was pretty bad. But I went ahead and replaced it with an M2C shock tower. It's been great ever since. I did not replace the front with the M2C because that hasn't bent yet, and I'm not going to do it till it bends. As far as the center drive shaft boots, they're on the front and the rear. Now, Traxxas says that those are greased and they're there to keep the dust out to prolong the life of your center drive shaft. Well, those don't contain any grease. If anything, it just keeps the dust and the dirt out because they definitely don't have grease in there. And that was really easy. I tore that thing, a piece of bark just got in there and it just tore the boot. So haven't torn one since, but that's because I went ahead and bought the Hot Racing chassis bag. And this chassis bag helps to keep a lot of the debris out. So this is also another must upgrade. Now let's go over some pros and cons. As far as the pros go, definitely a lot of speed, a lot of power, a lot of upgrades available for this. Once you get the issues worked out, this thing is extremely durable. It really is. We set our ramps side by side. We've been practicing for season 2 Clash. And I was sending this thing as hard as I could off that ramp. And as you can see right here, it's just been completely scraping up that chassis on that steel ramp. I hit that ramp hard several times and haven't had any issues. So all those have been worked out and I'm so happy about that. Now I can just enjoy the car. It's very versatile. You can take this almost anywhere. It's got a lot of ground clearance. It's big enough to go off-roading. So yeah, you can take this. The only problem is it's an 1/8 scale. It's a little big. So if you guys plan on taking it somewhere, maybe you're taking it out of town, it's probably not the most practical car because of the size. So just take that in consideration. Plus it takes 2 batteries. Honestly, if you're going out of town, I would probably bring something smaller, something that takes maybe 1 battery. But like I said, this really can go anywhere. It's pretty beefy and it'll handle all the terrain. As far as tricks go, if you guys like doing tricks, this thing definitely does back flips, front flips. You can get it to bicycle, but the problem is it's the squeaking because it's a little dirty, but the stability is so good on this truck that it's hard to get it on 2 wheels. It's actually hard to flip it. You really have to try and flip it or hit a corner really bad. So this thing handles extremely well on a track, and it handles great full speed going around corners. So this thing slides really nice and hooks up. You're not going to be flipping this a whole lot. That's a good thing. Now, as far as the cons go, right back to durability. You have to get it to that point where it's durable, and you're gonna have to, right out of the box, upgrade the front and rear diffs, put the steel spiral cut gears in them. You got to get the M2C motor mount, and once you get that stuff worked out, you should be good to go. It took a lot of spur gears and a lot of pinions to find out what was going wrong, and once we figured it out, we haven't had a problem since. So those are a must upgrade, which does up the price of this car. So if it's $700, you're looking at $50 for the front, $50 for the rear, and about $90 for the motor mount. So it does get a little pricey from there. I still think it's worth it because this is such a bad truck. It's so nice. We did upgrade the servo. This servo, wow, this thing moves so fast. That is a definite must upgrade. Honestly, doing tricks, hitting the ramp, bashing, you're not going to really notice the difference. But when we were actually racing on it, this thing was turning a lot sharper. So, I mean, that's a good thing. Got to get used to it. But this definitely has a lot of power. And I believe that is a 2280 servo. So it is a little pricey. It is the Traxxas 2280. And I couldn't be more happy with it. Like I said, it's a little pricey, but if you guys are going with the servo, go with that one. That one's meant to bash. That one's meant to go through hell. It's putting out over 600 plus ounces of torque. So that is a really good servo. We fully upgraded this as far as the cosmetics go. I wish, well, they do now. I mean, if you guys look on Traxxas' site, as you guys can see, they color code everything. So the shocks, the chassis, depending on which color you're going to get, they are color matching now, which is great. They should have done that from the beginning. But what we did, we went ahead and got the green anodized shocks, the wing bracket, center chassis, the control arm inserts, and the actual physical chassis on the bottom, and the spline wheel hubs. We did all that green. I didn't want to do the bottom green because I thought that would have been a little bit too much. The gray makes it look really nice. Unfortunately, the rear shock tower, when it bent, I had to go with the M2C, so that's going to be a different color now. So I might as well match it with the front. Like I said, eventually I will get the M2C chassis because that thing is meant not to break. It's like 140 bucks, 150 bucks, but that's going to be worth it because you're probably not going to buy another one. As you guys can see from the tricks, you can really send this. If you have the right ramp, we were hitting triples with this, no problem. Almost got some quadruples in there. Racing, extremely fast, extremely fun, a lot of speed. We haven't done a top speed test on this, but it does do 70 miles an hour. Now, with the weight and the size of this, I'm not sure I want to do 70 miles an hour on this because if you crash at 70 miles an hour on the sledge, I can't tell you what might break. I mean, that's a lot of weight being thrown around. Now, one thing I do want to mention, when you first buy this, I would definitely do the motor mount, do the spiral cut gears, and go ahead and buy the RPM front bumper. Now, the RPM front bumper is going to save your body because this is the body, the original body, and you can see it's cut. Now, if I would have went ahead and got that front bumper first, as you can see right here, it's going to cover that front lip of that body. So you're not going to have a beat up body anymore. I mean, it depends on how you hit, but that's really going to protect it. So I should have bought that right when I got the truck, but I didn't even know that they made one. So that is a great buy. Everything that I put on this truck and everything that I upgraded, I will put down in the description. That way you guys know exactly what we used in case you want to get one and do the same upgrades. Now, you guys probably noticed behind me, there's an unboxing coming up. Not going to tell you guys what that is. Not even going to give you guys a clue. That's going to be a very special unboxing. So stay tuned for that one. So my overall thoughts on this car, if you should buy it, I would have to say most definitely. This thing is an absolute beast. This thing is so fun to drive once you get all the kinks worked out. I can't tell you how fun this is to hit the ramp and race with it. We do have some D boots that we tried on it. I liked them, but I think I like the Sledgehammers a little bit more. The D boots don't give me a whole lot of rotation in the air, which is kind of weird because that's kind of what they're for. They're backflips. So might try some other tires. I kind of want to throw the Talons on there from the E-Revo. I heard someone say that actually runs really nice, so maybe we'll try that. As a first car, I would not recommend this. This is too much car for a first car. I mean, yeah, you can tone down the power and get used to it, which is fine. Just remember, it does run on 6S. You can run on 4S. You can put a 6700 milliamp 4S in this, but all the fun's gonna be on 6S, and it can definitely handle it. If you're a veteran out there and you were on the fence about buying this, or you're on the fence between this and an X-Max, I can't really speak for the X-Max, though it is on the list. This is a definite worth buy. This is, I mean, yes, there were a lot of problems with it, but in the very end, this is definitely worth it. If you guys have any questions, leave a comment. If I missed something, or you guys want to add something that maybe you were having problems with, or maybe something that you really love about this truck, put it down in the comments, let us know. We like reading all those. We get to as many of them as we can. Sometimes we miss a few just because it doesn't show up in the new comments. We kind of have to look back and see other replies. So if I don't get back to you right away, just send me a new one and we'll try and get to you as fast as we can. We do go through a lot of comments. If you have any questions, please leave a comment. If there's a video you want us to do, again, leave a comment. We will definitely add it to the list so we can do it. This was a lot of fun. Really, this is probably my favorite truck besides the Bandit. The Sledge is such a blast. You won't regret getting one. If there's an RC car that you don't see on the channel yet that you really highly recommend, let us know, because there's 2 RCs right now we're looking at that we're going to be adding to the lineup very soon. So again, not going to give you any hints, but leave a comment down below if there's something that you want us to try. And we got a lot of other builds to do. Again, I do have a Tamiya Stadium Blitzer that's 30 years old that I am reviving. That was the very first RC car that I purchased. So I will be reviving that. I will be putting the BL2S system in it. And that's gonna be a fun build. Bring that back to life. So make sure you guys like and subscribe. Really helps out the channel. See you guys on the next one.